Welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. We are the Odd Pod. What's going on? My name is Steve Skruger. Who are you boys?
I am casually challenged, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
In a world where a podcast is recorded, I am Rat Hazard. One man to stand against the world.
I'm Robbie, and after No Fap November coming into Destroy Dick December, my entire country has turned white.
Wow, that did not take long.
Ladies and gentlemen, 27 seconds.
Oh, no. Dude, why did the internet create that holiday? I have to ask. I like this no shave November thing because I had a head start on it, you know? Like, I was just like, we're good. But who started this? Why did the internet, of all things, conceive this?
You just answered your own question by asking the question.
True.
The internet.
Well, I mean, why though? I mean, usually they have good reasons. Like this meme came along and became a thing. No, the internet one day was just like, hey, by the way, guys, we're not allowed to beat our dicks for a whole month.
Wait. You just said the internet has good ideas. I think you're confusing the internet with something else.
Sometimes, granny midget porn. I mean, that's a great idea. Wow.
Cricket.
Wow, thanks, guys. Thanks. Robbie, of all people, I expect him to go like, well, shit, as long as there's a tentacle involved, I'm there. You know, but
I have no arguments with that.
God damn it. So, guys, I finally went and saw it.
Topics, things. When you say that, that could mean anything, because there's a lot of things you haven't seen.
The DC universe. The current one, that is. I went to go see Justice League in the theaters. That was fucking amazing. I mean, it was fucking amazing. I don't know. Me and Rad apparently are schmucks out of water here because I don't know what the fuck you guys hated about it. It was fucking stellar.
Whoa. First of all, nobody said they hated Justice League.
I could probably go back and get audio evidence of that, Casual. You said you thought it wasn't good.
No, I said it wasn't bad. There's a difference.
I believe my review of the movie was a quote from the movie, and that was, I take it back, I wish I was dead.
Match.
Opinions?
It was fucking amazing. I feel it was better than Thor. Because Thor, okay. I walked into Thor expecting what I expected from the first one. Something serious, something that you expect Thor's theme to be. Where I walked in Justice League expecting what I would expect from them. Something serious, a darker tone, and that's exactly what I got. It was fucking amazing. I don't know why people hated Affleck's, Batfleck. He was very good. He filled out the suit
nobody
very well.
Hated Batfleck.
Are you sure about this? Do you want me to find the internet?
Everybody, general consensus is that Batfleck is the best part of the current DC movies.
My primary problem with Batfleck in the Justice League movie as opposed to Batman v Superman is while in Batman v Superman he goes kind of like Batman Arkham on people where he literally beats the living shit out of them. Mm-hmm. I felt he didn't do that as much this movie, and for that I didn't like him as much.
See, I really like that personally. Honestly, that's one thing I did like about Batman versus Superman is that he went straight up Arkham and just fucking annihilated people.
Okay, so that's kind of you just buried the second lead to this story. Stacy saw the other DCEU movies as well.
Yes, all three of them. So here's how it went. I saw Justice League first and went, this is fucking amazing. I do have some complaints about it. Don't get me wrong. But I was like, this is fucking amazing. Now I have to watch the previous two. So I went and watched, and I'll get to my complaints here in a minute, okay? But I went and watched Man of Steel. It was fucking godlike. And I fucking am not a Superman fan at all, but I became somewhat of a Superman fan after watching this. It was so good. It was too much CGI, but it was good. It was
Some
very,
decent
very
action
good.
in that film, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was having a blast watching it.
What I want to say first is that you say all three of them. There's technically 5 of them.
We're not going to We're not going to talk about the Wonder Woman garbage.
Well, and Suicide Squad. But
I forgot about that one.
here's the thing. While there are technically 5 of them, the ones you're talking about are the only ones that actually matter when it comes to continuity of story. Because Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman are kind of doing their own thing and only loosely connected to the DCU.
I mean,
but
Wonder
continue.
Woman's basically a flashback.
Yeah, she had they were talked about the photo and then hit her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad mentions that Superman is dead, but that's the only like direct connections, which is very loose.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, there was too much too much CGI. But once again, it's Superman. How the fuck can you do Superman without CGI? We can look back at the old ones, and they were garbage for a reason, you know.
What I really didn't like about Man of Steel was that, like the rest of the DC movies, it's got a weird, like, darker tint to it, like the whole movie. I just don't think that works for Superman. I think he needs to be bright and colorful.
I would agree with that. In fact, they actually addressed that in Justice League. Not only is the tone of, like, the emotional tone of the movie a bit brighter, but they actually made Superman's costume brighter. Like, they changed the colors to make him brighter in Justice League versus what he was in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
So I didn't think it was that dark, personally, at all.
If you think about it, that's very realistic to the way the real world works. Somebody's an ass, somebody kicks their ass, they mellow out. In this case, Batman straight up killed him.
Well, Doomsday killed him.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
So Superman just needed to mellow out a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I didn't like the way Doomsday killed Superman in that film. I thought the comic version was better.
I would completely agree. But at the same time, it was still just punch face either way you look at it with the comic book.
I know, but like in the comic books, they go straight out of like fist fights until like just like one punch left and they're both down for the count. In the movie, he just like stabs him.
Yeah, right.
Well,
That's one thing I said too. That's like, okay. I realize, and I apologize for cutting you off there, Casual. But
go ahead.
I realize that we have to go. Okay, just like I've been yelled at how many times by you guys. You have to understand it's a different universe, so you have to understand it's a different story. I get that, but Jesus Christ, did we have to deviate that hard?
The thing about the DC movies, and by the way, they don't actually have a name for their connected universe. That is actually something the DCEU is, which stands for DC Extended Universe. That's something the media came up with, and they just didn't say no to it. In more recent months or whatever, they've actually been saying, because they're not even sure that they're going to be continuing a connected universe, they've been saying, oh, we never actually said that, by the way. So they're kind of hedging their bets on the whole thing. They're like not sure they want to continue. But that being said, the DCEU started with a certain vision. That vision was Zack Snyder's, and Zack Snyder had a darker take on the whole thing. Fan backlash was so high that they had to they had to correct. The problem is that they don't really know how to correct. Like they keep trying different things. None of it is working the way they want to, and whether we like or dislike what they're doing as moviegoers, as comic book fans, the simple fact is that they meaning DC Warner Brothers, they are not making the money off of these that they need to make to continue them.
Yeah.
and which is sad because I'm in kind of, I don't know. Man of Steel is a very divisive movie. Some people liked it, some people didn't. As each of the movies have gone on, they've been more towards the side of people not liking them. Justice League was kind of... People were like, it's fine, but the problem is they had been, quote, burned by the other DC movies, so they didn't go out to see it in droves, and it is currently... I hate to say this, but it is underperforming, which is the word that they use now. It's made $500 million. It's made over $500 million. Now, that used to mean success. That is considered a failure for DC.
They expect too much.
Plus, I would also personally feel it's a lot of people are looking at Marvel and like, we want this in DC. Well, no, it's something different from DC. It's going to be a totally different product. You can't expect the exact same thing. And it's just a lot of what people are saying and looking at, I feel is, in my opinion, Marvel fanboyism.
No, it's. I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of that, sure. But the thing that people seem to fail to understand is that there are certain... There's a reason that the Marvel movies have been succeeding, and it's not just because they're Marvel, it's because they're hitting all the mass market buttons. You know, they're going through a checklist and they're saying, does it have enough humor? Does it have enough action? Does the story, they have like a cheat sheet that they were obviously given by the devil, because that's the only reason all the Marvel movies have been so successful. And they've been going off that cheat sheet. We have to hit this, we have to do this, we have to do that. And that's another reason that some people are saying the Marvel movies are getting, quote, boring, because they're all, quote, the same. Now, I don't really agree with that. I think they have done a few different things, but I can see why people would say that, because there are similarities in each of the movies. DC, the biggest problem with DC, and we've said it before, is that DC wants to be where Marvel is. Like, they want to already be where Marvel is right now. And they didn't get there first, so they're trying to rush it.
I won't argue with that at all. You're absolutely right. And, they can't rush it. You just can't rush something like this. You need to do the fucking, the back work that Marvel did. Yeah, I mean, that's all there is to it. And it sucks. Of course it does. But you know what? The journey there is going to be a hell of a lot more satisfying. The destination should be, let me rephrase that, will be a hell of a lot more satisfying if you do the proper journey. And I get when it comes to money, you're like, we need money. I get that. Don't get me wrong. The whole point of a fucking movie is money. It's not about art anymore. Unless you're in fucking college, which I'm pretty sure everybody from DC and Warner Brothers is not.
Well, it can still be about art if you are willing to only spend like $20 million and don't expect more than about 50 in return. But yes, big Hollywood is about the box office, and they spent the reason that $500 million is not a success for this movie is they spent $500 million. Like, they spent so much money on it, and that doesn't even cover like marketing costs. They spent so much money on it that by the time it finally came out, well, they needed $1 billion for it to be considered a success, and it probably won't make $1 billion.
And whose fault is that? Warner Brothers.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, there's some consensus. There's some talk about, okay, so Zack Snyder had this original vision, Then executive meddling came in after the, quote, backlash of Man of Steel, which, by the way, Stacey, I agree. Man of Steel is a good movie. I believe, Brad, you have a similar opinion.
Yep, I do.
But because of executive meddling, we got what happened with Batman v Superman. Now, it's perfectly acceptable that you like the movie. There are parts to like, and the extended version is better. But overall, Batman v Superman has more problems than Man of Steel did. The only problem Man of Steel had, in my opinion, was that Superman didn't go saving every single civilian. He was fighting Zod and he let people die. And that was the biggest problem everybody had with it.
Oh, you mean Man of Steel, not Batman vs. Superman.
Yes, Man of Steel. I thought that was an interesting take on the character. It made him more human. I liked it. But Backlash caused executives to meddle in Batman v Superman, and we got a mess and more executive backlash in Suicide Squad and even more in Justice League. Now, I will also say, though, that Justice League suffered from real life because Zack Snyder had to leave the project because of things that happened in his real life. And you can't have the main person with the vision leave and not see the movie turn into something else. So it is what it is.
However, I believe Justice League was headed in the right direction.
Oh, I would agree.
But this being Hollywood, they're learning the wrong lessons. I've already read multiple stories about, they want to get rid of Jeff Johns. They want to basically fire everybody and just, quote, start over. Which I think is a terrible idea.
I would agree. Okay. I keep sidetracking it, but I think that what they need to do, and I know this might be reactionary, but I think they need to reboot at this point.
Yeah.
Like, no one is going to be happy with the continued saga of where they came from. If they just started over yet again, I think they can start from hopefully a better place. And this time, put Jeff Johns in charge. Like, have him be the Kevin Feige.
Yeah, definitely. They do have an out coming, and that is Flashpoint.
Yeah, that might be it. One of the talks is actually that they're going to do. They're just going to do standalones again, like Flashpoint. So the other problem though is they already Aquaman is in production, so they can't just stop because they're already investing even more money into Aquaman. Yeah. Now, I'm actually excited to see Aquaman because I thought he was the second best part of Justice League.
I'll agree with that. I thought he was one of the few characters I liked in Justice League. Definitely,
he was having fun.
Yeah,
and that the actor was having fun, the character was having fun, and it all translated to the screen, and I really enjoyed where it was going.
I suppose one of my bigger problems with Justice League is because I watched so many trailers. If you've seen all the trailers, you've almost seen the entire film.
Yeah, I kind of took note of that. All of the best moments from the movie, with the exception of one, were pretty much not all the best moments, all the jokes. Every single joke was in the trailers.
Multiple times.
Which I don't know how to feel about that.
I disagree with your earlier assessment that they should reboot it. I think you have to spend money to make money. So I think they should continue in this direction because Wonder Woman, despite what Stacy says, was a step in the right direction.
It was.
Absolutely.
And Justice League was another step in the right direction. So I say go with it for a while. See what happens. No business ever starts out making money day one. It does not happen. So
yeah.
I think they need to give it time to breathe. As if it's a fine wine. Let it breathe a little bit. See where it goes. Then if you have a problem with it after 3 or 4 movies, okay, then do it all over.
Well, okay. But then you get into the problem of Warner Bros. Okay, so there's only a couple studios out there that are capable of making huge mistakes and just dusting them off and saying, whoops, well, we'll try again. One of them is Disney. Part of the reason they're capable of making those big mistakes is because they haven't yet. Like, for the past decade, Disney has been churning out success after success, whether people specifically like the movies or not. Like, for instance, there's all kinds of critical response to the live-action Beauty and the Beast, in that it was fine, but most critics are saying it was unnecessary. That didn't stop Beauty and the Beast live-action from making over $1 billion. So when you're making enough money off of successful projects, if there's one that's slightly less successful, for example, the Thor: The Dark World, not their greatest movie in the MCU, or more recent example, the short Frozen thing before the movie Coco. They've already pulled it because fan response was so bad towards it. They were like, why am I sitting through 20 minutes of this stupid short? Get to the movie. And theaters are pulling it because of that.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, because Coco, nobody even knows why they did it, but basically people are responding very well to Coco, but the Frozen short before Coco is like 20 minutes long, and people, well, especially people with kids who go to those movies, are like, dude, my kids are already starting to be, little twerps. Can we get rid of this and get onto the movie so we can get out of here before my kids go insane?
I heard that the Frozen short was originally supposed to be a TV spot.
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to be like a mini TV thing on ABC, but then they attached it to Coco for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. There's lots of opinions. I would agree that Justice League was a good potential direction.
Potentially, yeah.
Like it I don't know. It's hard for me to say. And yes, I am a Marvel fanboy, but also Marvel's doing it right.
Yeah, true. It's like I said, I don't like. I wasn't thrilled with the Justice League film, and I even went in with low expectations. A lot of the problems I had was, like I mentioned, the trailer thing. I didn't like the way they brought Superman back. I felt his return would have been more impactful if, say, maybe they tried to bring him back, they failed, but then he came back. Like when he steps in and punches Steppenwolf, if they didn't know he was alive, I felt that would have been more impactful there.
Okay, spoilers. Superman comes back.
Spoilers that everybody knows.
Yes. I will also say this about Superman's return in the movie. I thought that was the best scene in the movie when he was fighting them.
It was pretty cool, yeah. I really like that fight scene at the end.
Because for me, I actually, like, some people look at superheroes fighting each other and they go, why are they fighting each other? But I'm actually a huge fan of the superheroes fighting each other just because we get to see them, like, doing something against each other versus the unknown villain who, okay, but we don't, it's like a power level thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It was like when they brought him back, and I don't know, maybe it's because I've seen it a lot in movies where you bring one of your friends back and they don't know who you are, so they fight you, and then turns out they remember who they are. And I've seen that trope a lot, and
yeah.
I kind of hoped that they'd skip that and just go straight to, oh, I'm back alive, yay. Let's go fight Steppenwolf. Something.
My personal favorite bit, Flash's oh shit face.
Yes. Stacey, opinions?
Which one?
Well, okay.
There was quite a few oh shit faces from him.
Yes. Now, obviously, the Flash was the audience, like... The Flash was the nuke.
Surrogate.
Yeah, and he was the guy that the audience is looking at. But my personal favorite moment was not just the fight against Superman, but the part where the Flash is running at his super speed and Superman starts to look at him.
Yeah, I did like that bit.
Oh, that one. That was funny as hell. I remember cackling in the theater, and some people looked at me awkwardly.
Yeah. I did like that bit. That's one of the... If I'm going to be honest, that's one of the few parts of the Flash that I actually liked. I didn't like the way... I didn't like the personality they gave him. I get what they were going for. I entirely get what they were going for. Him being kind of a fanboyish, being fanboyish of Batman. But I felt maybe it was the direction, or maybe it was just the actor. But I don't think he executed it very well. Especially when they get to the Batcave, which is basically just a fucking basement, like rectangle room. It's probably the worst Batcave I've ever fucking seen. But when they get to that and he starts zooming around and he goes into the Batmobile, the look on his face, I get he was trying to go for like that, oh my god, I'm here, kind of amazed face, but the facial expression he gave me just looked like someone who had been described that face but never seen it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a case of possible reshoots, but also possibly like maybe they didn't get the right actor.
Yeah, I would lean more towards how many times they have to film that, because every take you do of a scene is never the same, even though ideally it is. So maybe it's just I gotta do this again. And that kind of subconsciously came through.
Well, sure, but then they would have gotten at least one really good take, and that's, again, where I say maybe they didn't get the right actor. I don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I've never really seen much out of him other than The Flash.
As someone who's a fan of the Flash television show...
Oh, big fan, yeah.
I didn't have a problem with Ezra Miller. I thought he was perfectly fine as Barry Allen.
I thought he was fine too. I just think that, like, and
I'm a little confused. Sorry, I'm a little confused about his origin story, because he wasn't a forensic scientist in the show, but in his original origin story, he gets his powers while he's a forensic scientist in his laboratory.
Yeah, in the TV show.
No,
yes.
he's a forensic scientist in... Oh, you're talking about he becomes a forensic scientist. Yeah,
I know, but I mean well, it's like, because that's where the chemicals come from that combine with the Speed Force lightning that give him his powers.
Yeah, I don't know what their plan is for that. Like, And who knows? They might not have a plan at this point. Like the plans might be dead in the water because of the box office on what do you call it? On Justice League were not what they wanted. So
since we've kind of got a little bit into some criticisms about it, and being perfectly honest, I'm really curious to see what Stacy's criticisms are. Stacy, you have the floor.
Of Justice League or the whole bloody thing?
Any of them.
Any of it.
All right.
You can take it movie by movie if you so choose.
Superman, way too much fucking CGI, but once again, I already said that. How the fuck can you get away from it? Otherwise, fucking fantastic. A little too much. I'm mad at Zod, so I'm going to go punch him over and over again, and I'm not going to save people. But I'm glad that they took him away from the fucking Boy Scout bullshit. I hated the Boy Scout, and that's part of what drove me away from Batman and Superman. So I liked it.
The way I always rationalize that part is that it's the first time he's fighting anyone even close to his level.
Yeah.
So he's not yet that big blue Boy Scout that everybody automatically expected him to be.
And he's also not trained, so he develops tunnel vision.
Very true.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I liked the idea that I liked how human he was. I liked that his father wanted to hide him because he was scared of losing him, and that leads to, him not being the Superman we know.
Yeah. One thing I can't rationalize is why his father died for no reason.
Because Hollywood. That I agree.
That's actually why I yelled at the TV when I was sitting there like, fuck you, Hollywood, this is pointless.
Like there, I get that you want to have, like, the big moment, whatever, but there are certain times where you just have to step back and say, hey, maybe Superman's mom and dad are alive this time.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one of the huge what the fuck moments for it was he died because reasons. But once again, because plot armor, because of Hollywood. Otherwise, Superman was pretty fucking rock solid. I hate the fact, the one that pissed me off though, Lois Lane, every 30 seconds, Clark, get in the taxi, Clark, sitting in front of the cops, Clark, bitch! Last I knew he was trying to hide himself. Why are you screaming Clark every 30 fuck? Clark, I mean, not Clark, guys. It's totally not Clark Kent. I mean, Superman. Hey, Clark, are you okay? Bitch! Bitch! Superman, use your frozen breath. Freeze this woman's mouth shut. Shut her the fuck up. She's going to let your secret out.
That's fucking stupid. I can understand, like, occasionally maybe slipping up.
Yeah.
Because once in the comics, while talking to Batman, Superman accidentally calls him Bruce in front of the Joker.
Come on, people. She can call him Clark all day long. Nobody would know. Remember, this is the universe where putting on a pair of sunglasses is a disguise.
Hey,
you're not wrong.
I have taken off my own glasses before, and people have said, whoa, you look totally different, and not being sarcastic.
But they still recognized you.
It's possible.
But they still recognized you. All he has to do is put on, glasses with black frames. Oh my gosh, who is this new guy?
Now
Superman was just here. Where'd he go?
That is one of the things, no matter what you might say about any of the other Superman performances, one thing you have to give credit to Christopher Reeves for was he didn't just put on glasses. He performed two roles. He had a Clark Kent role where he acted completely different, and then he had the Superman role.
Very true.
I loved that. But anyway,
I forget what speech this is from, but like it's something along the lines of how Clark Kent is basically what Superman thinks of humans.
That is from Kill Bill.
Oh yeah. I used to love that.
Yeah, it's a superhero monologue about superheroes and
secret identities.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's actually a really good monologue.
But yeah, otherwise, Man of Steel was decent, very good. I mean, it was a bit Boy Scoutish, like, how dare you try to intimidate my mother, bah! And tunnel vision the shit out of Zod when everybody else was still there fucking with his mom. But once again, first time with his powers, you kind of expect a Boy Scout to turn into stereotypical Boy Scout. Batman versus Superman. Once again, a bit heavy with CG, but, once again, it's fucking Superman in it. How the fuck do you get away from it? I liked it because it went into it, and at least for once they didn't go so heavily into Bruce's fucking backstory. Just the same exact complaint I had about the Spider-Man flicks and why I loved Spider-Man Homecoming. They touched on it, they went away. They touched on it a bit too much in this one, but at least it wasn't as heavy as every other fucking Batman flick ever. Where it's always, oh, my mom and dad were killed. Oh, my mom and dad were killed. Oh, my mom or dad. We fucking get it. You're an orphan. It's part of your fucking story. And I love that I actually fed back. I yelled so loud I fed back through Robbie's headset. I love that.
I like that. There was a comic I was reading one time where it was based on what you're talking about, where Batman is constantly brooding about his parents being killed. Wham, my parents are dead. Wham, my parents are dead. And at one point, Superman, grabs him by the throat and says, "Your fucking parents are dead? My whole fucking planet is dead! I'm the last of my kind! Shut the fuck up!"
That's exactly how I felt. At least they left it behind some, but they still touched on it too much. But once again, okay, whole new generation of viewers.
Yeah, and based on the story, they kind of had to, because otherwise, how do you get to the moment with Martha?
Okay, seriously. I was dreading this point because I heard everybody make fun of it. It's like, okay, I have to witness this. That was awful. They could have done it so much better. I'm not pissed that that's what the joining point was, where he calmed down, which seemed cheesy, but I was willing to accept it. It's just that it was done badly.
I would have liked it if when Wonder Woman showed up, they asked her, "Was your mother's name Martha?"
Yeah, but had they done that, it would have been a little bit too self-aware, and then they might have been actually making a movie sort of like Marvel does, and then it would have been more successful, and then we would have gotten a better Justice League.
Well...
Again, I am not saying that these movies are inherently bad. Well, I am saying that Justice League is bad. But for me, honestly, Justice League would have been a good movie had they done away with the weird dream sequences.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for reminding me of this. I remember sitting on the couch. Clorox looks at me. By the way, everybody, Clorox is my girlfriend, in case you didn't know. She looked at me and went, "He's fucking floating now?" And I looked at are you fucking, all of a sudden, bam, dream sequence. Oh, for fuck's sake. She looks at me and went, "You're getting fired up." Like, shut up. But I was getting ready to just turn off the movie because it was so dumb that he was floating because of bats. I went, it's a dream sequence. I guess I can eat that. It's still dumb, but at least I can eat that. Yeah, I mean,
my problem with the dream sequence was that it was... Okay, so for those that don't know, they were setting up things like Justice League. So I don't have an inherent problem with a movie setting things up. For example, in Age of Ultron, the second Avengers movie, they do this thing where Thor leaves the party to go set up stuff for Infinity War. Mm-hmm. Now, it wasn't super well received, and in future movies they have since stopped doing that kind of setup. But by the time we get to Age of Ultron, there are 10 movies prior to that have given you the right to be able to set up a future movie. This Batman v Superman was their second movie. and they're setting up stuff that most people outside of super hardcore DC fans are just like, for instance, I'm not a super hardcore DC fan. When it started doing the weird dream sequence flashback things, I was like, what the hell is this? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And the second major problem is not only are they doing the weird dream sequence, but then the Flash comes from the future.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know that was the Flash because I thought it was still more dream sequence stuff.
Hold on, wait. Oh, that was the Flash?
Yeah.
See? A DC fan doesn't even know that was the Flash. Like,
And he saw Justice League first.
That was the Flash?
like
It didn't even
why?
look like him, though.
Right. That's my point. Like, they didn't have the right to set up stuff, and it completely ruined the flow of the movie. Now, aside from Jesse Eisenberg being Jesse Eisenberg, which we'll get to your opinions on that too, Daisy, if they had just removed those flashbacks, I think the entire movie would have been much better, and I probably would have said, that was an okay movie. But because of those flashbacks, I can't in good conscience say that it was a good movie because it just ruined the experience for me.
And the one thing that we are all missing, the most important detail that they needed to change. You're not partially in one time and another. You're either completely there or you're not. None of this Flash with his head through the window type thing.
Yeah, that was a little bit silly too.
Like, I remember seeing that and instantly just wrote it off because, like, oh, it's just some dumbass movie, trope where, like, oh, I dreamed it. It's not real. So I completely wrote it off. Actually, that's why I didn't credit that to being the Flash. I was just like, oh, it's Batman being way too fucking obsessed.
Nope, that was the Flash.
Okay.
Yep, that's the opinion.
I mean, I love... okay. Let's get further into this.
I just want to say that for one of the things I don't like about the DCEU is that all the villains seem to be big grey people. Like
Yeah.
Doomsday is a big grey monster. Steppenwolf's kind of big and like armory greyish. Was it Ares from Wonder Woman is like basically. I almost got. Yeah, I almost got them and Steppenwolf confused.
Right. Ares is kind of the same.
Oh, he actually did show up in Wonder Woman eventually?
He was the villain.
I was told
he was
that.
in it.
Okay, because I never saw him in the entire thing before I left.
Yeah, like I said, you left right before it really got...
Right where the movie really gets
why the
going.
movie failed.
It didn't, though.
If I could sit through Batman versus Superman and go, you know what, I walked away with a good experience, Wonder Woman failed. Plain and simple. Batman, me being the person who dislikes movies, went through it and went, you know what, this was if I could sit through Matrix Revolutions, or what's the second one called? Revelations?
Matrix Reloaded.
If I could
Reloaded.
sit through Reloaded and go, wow, that was an okay experience, and it could hold my attention, Wonder Woman failed. Because let's face it, Reloaded was a failure.
Because of Rad Sr., I've sat through so many Nicolas Cage movies, it's not even funny. If I can watch those, I can watch basically anything.
Like, I've sat through some really bad movies, guys, and I could not sit
Agree.
through Wonder Woman. That's why Wonder Woman failed to me.
I would argue that everything you're saying is just pointing out that you're not a movie person.
No, everything I'm saying points out that okay, that's kind of the point. You shouldn't have to be a movie person to enjoy a movie if it's good.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that you're... okay, I'm not saying your opinion is invalid, even though it sounds like I'm saying your opinion is invalid. What I'm saying is, like, your opinions are against the common, like, grain of opinions. Like, you're saying Batman v Superman is good and Wonder Woman is shit, and generally speaking, the opinions of the majority is the exact opposite.
I mean, I've found an outcrop of myself of people like me who thought Wonder Woman failed. So I'm
Yes,
not like completely.
You're a part of the 10%.
But let's face it, unfortunately, there's about 0.5% of those that are male chauvinistic pigs who are like, oh, she has tits, I don't like her. Which blows my mind. I'm serious, not being sarcastic, how men can go, oh, it's a female lead, it has to be shit because it was also directed by a woman, it has to be testicles only. Go fuck yourself, you
Give me more big men in spandex.
Well, I'm not against men in spandex. Robbie, can you agree with me?
I can agree with that.
Just, oh my god, the butt. Go ahead.
But all of that being said,
Yes.
what I think we can agree on is that there were good parts of all of these movies.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
Now, the fact that you didn't see the best part of Wonder Woman is a shame. I'm telling you, you should go to YouTube and look it up because that's all you have to do is look up the one scene.
okay.
If you don't like the one scene, then okay, you don't have to watch another minute of Wonder Woman.
I mean, like I said,
Leave it at
if
that.
a movie fails at selling itself in the first hour and a half, it's failed. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have to sit through the last, half an hour to an hour of the movie to be like, oh, that was a good experience. You know, once again, well, we're getting into the same, we're repeating ourselves over and over again here. But let's wrap up Batman versus Superman here. The Martha, like I said, was just done badly. I think Batman, this version of Batman, I had a bit of a hard time swallowing because he had such bad tunnel vision. Like, Batman as a character has always had bad tunnel vision. There's no denying that. But even this tunnel vision was a bit bad.
As a perfect example, I would give you, in the 1989 Batman, Bruce Wayne is standing next to his back computer. He asks Alfred, hey, Alfred, did you get that binder of, like, whatever villain he's looking up? And Alfred says, it's on the table right next to you.
You know, that's
World's greatest detective, my ass.
That's the best example for it too, Rad. That is legit the best example of he gets bad television, but even this was obscene. And like, okay, I can remember before I watched him, like, how are they going to sell that Batman hates Superman in this one? And the fact that they sold it that, Superman destroyed his building, killed a bunch of his coworkers, killed his main manager, I think, like, he was friendly with, whatever, and killed a bunch of his employees in general. He had to pick up the big fucking beam off of his employees' legs, and he saw that happening in front of him. He had to save kids from dying. That, I was like, that made sense. But even for Batman, I keep on honing in this, but even for Batman, that was a hard sell. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, okay. That was actually, like, from the way they did it, I agree. But I liked the concept. I liked the idea that they were going with for why Batman had a hard-on against Superman. Just, like, they just didn't do it well. Like, from a script perspective. They could have done... I don't know. I don't know how, because I'm just a critic, and, those who can't do critique.
Believe me, I'll stand by that statement any day because I used to be a touring musician. I would stand by that. You're not playing that part right. Would you like to come up on stage? No, thanks.
Play Freebird.
Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. I heard that once. I threw a beer bottle. I'm not even going to lie. I wasn't even drinking the beer. It was my guitar player's. And he gave me kind of a dirty look because he was enjoying that beer. Moving on. But overall, I'm going to bitch heavily about Doomsday. I loved Doomsday from the comics. Once I finally got a chance to sit down, read, and ingest it, I liked the story where it was basically a fucking baby that was killed over and over and over, and they kind of developed him into this death machine. I loved that. I don't know why, but I liked that concept. One, because it's just dark as fuck.
It's so metal.
Well, seriously, all jokes aside, it is. It's metal as shit.
No, yeah, conceptually, the idea of, like, okay, so this is where I'm going to actually delve into comics I've actually read. I read Doomsday because my mom is actually a DC fan. Like, she read DC Comics when she was a kid.
I like your mom.
And when she heard about the death of Superman because they made a huge deal out of it before the comic was even launched. Like, they made such a big deal out of it. If anybody was around at that time, it was the big deal. Like, oh my God, they're gonna kill Superman. Now, there's a video that I think most of you have seen about the death and return of Superman killing comics, but that's a whole other thing. So I actually read it. Now, the original Doomsday was as brainless a concept and a character as the movie portrayed him.
Yeah.
He just came out of nowhere. He started punching everything. He said, "Where's Superman?" And Superman came to fight him, and they fought for like 3 issues, and then they both punched each other literally to death.
I mean,
now, that original concept, I was like, that was lame. Because it didn't explain anything. It was just, bam, here I am. Bam, I'm punching you. Bam, you're punching me. And now we're both dead. And I thought, for a death of a character as strong as Superman, it felt like, oh, well, we have to just make a big creature with all kinds of bones, and he's as strong as Superman, and that's why. Reasons the narrative. But on research of Doomsday, learning about, like, after the fact when they started actually creating Doomsday as a character, I thought, that's freaking cool. And it gave me a new perspective on the whole comic, the death of Superman. It made sense that he is trying to destroy all Kryptonians because they did what they did to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. That's what I'm trying.
But yeah, it's just the whole, all right, I'm going to slice my hand, I'm going to splice my human DNA with the Kryptonian and make this huge,
that was awful.
Fucking juggernaut. I didn't like it. It just sucked.
It actually just hit me. He spliced Kryptonian blood with his acting ability. It came out this monstrosity.
What I didn't understand was, okay, we've seen Kryptonians. We saw them in Man of Steel. We saw them in Batman v Superman. They are human-sized. We've seen humans. They are human-sized.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Doomsday come out 30 feet tall?
Because he had a little bit of actor's ego mixed in.
Right, though? I
mean,
it's just,
that's honestly, that was my biggest, like, if only because the original Doomsday was, guess what? Human-sized. He was a bit bulkier, but, like, why is it that Hollywood has to make giant trash piles in space and laser beams that go out into the sky and 30-foot tall end bosses? It felt like a video game. Like, oh no, it's the end boss. He's 30 feet tall because reasons.
Yeah. I was so fucking disappointed by Doomsday. I can't say enough about how disappointed I was because they had such an opportunity to make such an amazing little fucking thing that it was just like, come on, man, you could have done so much with this, but instead it was
we all were.
It was just lackluster, to say the least. Lackluster. I can't grunt and groan and piss and moan nearly enough, man. Legit, I can't. It's impossible. It's physically fucking impossible to piss and moan enough.
Like I actually had less of a problem with the whole Martha thing than I did with Doomsday. Like,
really?
Come on. Like that. Most of the complaints I hear about Batman v Superman were about, like, the whole Martha thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was so bad. And I agree, it wasn't the greatest. But, like, there were so many other problems with that movie. Focusing on the Martha plot point is like focusing on the tick on the back of a gorilla that's about to eat your face off.
Now, with me critiquing the Martha aspect and the Doomsday aspect, by no means am I saying it's a bad movie. I loved it. I did really enjoy it. I just felt that there were some parts that really fucked up. But yes, the Doomsday fight, it just felt to what you would expect. I was hoping for something different, but it turned out to be exactly what I expected. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Yep, I get you.
As far as it goes, with the rest, really everything else in the movie was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. The fight between Superman and Batman was a bit lackluster, but it's exactly what I expected of, okay, this guy, Batman, Batman's going to try to fight some fucking alien and get his face smashed in, you know what I mean? That type of shit. And all of a sudden, oh, look, I got Kryptonian dust grenades, and I'm going to be able to kick your ass for a few seconds. I'm going to get that smile, and then all of a sudden, we're done.
Oh, okay. I have a secondary major complaint about... Because my complaints about the movie were more about the editing. But when it comes to certain plot points, like the Doomsday being 30-foot tall thing, my major complaint from a story perspective is that Kryptonian dust grenade. And not the idea behind it. I'm fine with the fact that he shot him with Kryptonian powder. That was fine. It's the second shot.
That made him even more weak, you mean? Like where he
that
gained
it
his power
even hit
all of a
him.
sudden. Right?
That Superman
okay,
let it hit him.
Yes, now thank you for reminding me. It was something I was going to be pissed off about, but I completely forgot about until you reminded me. Right, dude? I'm like, how did it hit him again? He should have been like, oh, I know what this is. Was he tunnel visioned, or...
Come on, people. He's the goddamn Batman.
Yes, but being the Batman doesn't explain how Superman, who... Like, okay, had he hit him again with another one while he was still weak, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense because he's still weak from the first one.
Yeah.
But he was already gaining back his super speed and super strength at that point. Batman fires a grenade at him again. And all I could think was, okay, I'm Superman. I know what that grenade does now. I'm not an idiot. I should move a couple inches to the right and let it fly past me and then continue beating on this moron that thinks he's going to stop me. It's comic book logic. It's movie madness. I hated it.
I forgot to mention, if you ever bring up goddamn Batman, that means he has the most impenetrable plot armor known to man. Because he's the goddamn Batman.
I love Batman, so I'll argue for that every day. And that's one of the biggest flaws, too, at the same time, despite how much I love him. The other issue I had, and this is just me being a fan of the cartoon and the comic, I guess, and it pissed me off because no movie wanted to go for it, was that Affleck finally had his fucking face completely covered, wasn't showing his eyes, the whited out eyes. I'm like, I love that. It reminded me of the cartoon. It reminded me of the comic where it didn't show his eyes. That felt so good. And then, of course, oh, you punched my face. Now you can show my sexy face again. You fucking bastards. Come on. The blacked out eye, the whited out eyes was perfect. It killed his personality. Well, not necessarily killed it. It removed his emotions, and I loved that. That was perfect, and it all drove through just his mouth with that little smirk. It got rid of his smile, his eyes. It didn't show any of that. It was all. It demanded more of the actor, and I love that because he sold that entire punch from Superman with just the smile, and that was wonderful. And then, of course, oh, my eyes are showing again. I better show off sexy Affleck again. You fucking ass fucks. But that's just me being, I guess, probably being a bit too, what's I'm looking for here? Too pissy about it.
Anti-Affleck?
No, not anti. I was anti-Affleck at first because just the way his acting from previous movies, his face.
I remember those days.
None of it sold Batman until I saw this, and I don't understand why people hate Affleck as Batfleck.
People
I
don't.
love him. Oh, bullshit! Have you seen the internet? People said I've heard so many reviews saying that the worst thing of Justice League was Affleck. The worst thing about Batman vs Superman was Affleck, and I disagree.
What
yes,
reviews are
Always,
you watching?
and always remember, this is the same internet that has a problem with kittens, rabbits, and puppies.
you got a point, I suppose. But I've heard that's
I-
the lowest review is that Affleck ruined both of them because they didn't fill out the suit well. And I thought he was one of the best parts.
He was one of the best parts. That's why I'm saying, what reviews are you looking at? Because
Internet.
legitimately, everybody, all the major people are saying, Batfleck was the best part of Batman v Superman.
Also-
Now, I haven't heard a whole lot of Batfleck talk in Justice League, but yeah, almost every source will say, "Oh yeah, he was clearly the best part of Batman v Superman," and most people are saying that Henry Cavill is not the worst part, but the problem with Henry Cavill is he's not being given
Superman?
Okay, Superman. He's not being given enough to do like he's in Man of Steel. That was his movie, so he was kind of showing the what Zack Snyder wanted out of him. But since then, he hasn't been able to show that Boy Scout mentality. And most people are saying of Justice League that there was a glimmer of that in Justice League, but they would love to see more of him being the good guy, like being the Superman we know and love.
And that's just like I said earlier, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a glimpse of it, whereas before, it doesn't exist at all.
That's what made me enjoy Superman, is getting away from that Boy Scout bullshit. That's what made me dislike Superman so much, because the Boy Scout bores me. There's nothing fun about a Boy Scout. I'd much rather see someone who's willing to blur lines, hence why I'm such a huge Batman fan.
I do believe the Boy Scouts of America would disagree with you.
Fuck the Boy Scouts.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, right? I dislike them for different reasons. But that's besides the point. But all jokes aside, Batman vs. Superman was a great... And also, in case you're wondering about where I got this review from, I legitimately went to the theaters when I went to go see Thor and saw Batman. I saw the Justice League, and everybody was saying, "God damn, Batman failed." The employees, the managers, the people walking out, I was asking random people, and they're all saying, "Fuck, Batman just stunk it up." I'm like, "Are you drunk?"
What?
Yes, I'm like, "Are you drunk?"
I think you got a bad sample.
Either that, or you are refusing to see the other side. That some people really thought he was shit, which I don't know how, but
I am refusing to see it because most of the reviews I read, they don't say that. So I don't know. This is just a perfect example that everything is fluid, and you can't judge a book by its cover or something.
I can't judge a movie by its poster.
My only real problem with Batman is I wish they hadn't have started him off with him being so old as he is.
I actually like that a lot, to tell you the truth. At first I hated it, but then after I watched it, I was like, I love it because it shows him in that I've dealt with the death of Jason Todd. I've dealt with so much that I've snapped. And at first I hated that because I hate that whole, Jason Todd, I'm going to be the bad Batman. But I fucking loved it after they sold it.
I know, but I felt that locked him off to a lot of potential stories they could tell in the future.
Right, and that's
right, yeah.
And that's kind of gets into the problem of what DC is trying to do. They're trying to rush into situations where they're not giving it enough time. Imagine, if you will, a world where they started with Man of Steel, and instead of doing Batman v Superman, we got Man of Steel 2, where we just deal with the ramifications of what happened in Man of Steel, where Superman was not Superman. He was just a guy trying to protect his mom. Then we get a Batman movie where we deal with Batman. Then, my problem with the DC universe is only that they're trying to rush it. If they weren't trying to rush into everything, I think their entire movie saga would be better.
I don't disagree, and that's been something we've bitched about a number of times together. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they need to stop rushing this shit because it's so much potential. Now on to Justice League. Holy shit, was that a good movie? Oh my god, was that a great movie? It was so. I would say it's the greatest movie of the year, easily, hands down, greatest movie of the year. It was so fucking good. I sat down, movie started, instantly it has my man beating the fuck out of some douchebag. I'm like, yes! This is how a movie should start, damn it!
One thing I want to ask about that is he was beating the crap out of the
Parademon?
well, no, the criminal on the
yeah.
rooftop.
Yeah, I walked in late.
I get he wanted to use him to lure the Parademon out, but why did he leave him on the roof?
Because fuck that guy.
I mean, he didn't
also
wrap him up for the police to arrest him?
Yeah, and also don't forget that he also referred to him as he literally. So it's something I didn't even notice on my first watch. It was after watching a review of it where they were talking about some of the weird things. He actually calls Alfred while the guy is still in the shot and says, Alfred, I need you to blah, 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 blah. All I could... And if you think about that, Bats, there's a guy up there that can hear you saying Alfred. I'm sure there's probably not too many Alfreds. He's got to assume you're rich. You just told the entire criminal community who you are.
Yeah, that's one thing, but same time, I guess you can get away with it of, well, there could be an Alfred anywhere, I guess. But you know what? You're absolutely right.
But still, I mean, come on.
Goddamn Batman, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I agree with Robbie that basically he lets the criminal go, whereas the Batman we know from this universe not only wouldn't have let him go, he would have beat him down to the point where he was unconscious and near death.
Yeah.
And then he would have hung him upside down from the side of the building.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a problem for me, too.
And I get that, but at the same time, I loved it. I don't know why. There was just something cool about seeing him use him as bait. As soon as the Parademon came up, he looked at him, smirked, and, is it because he's dead, and then flew away? It also drove a message, of him going, he's walking away from his old self and trying to move forward and trying to get a team together to help destroy this thing. What this is becoming. I don't know why. I fucking loved it. There was just, there were a lot of complaints, don't get me wrong, but by far, Justice League was the greatest movie of the year. By far. There was one big thing that pissed me off. What of Justice League, what's one thing you guys can name that you remember a lot of when Justice League first came together, when the group was first formed? What was one thing you guys remember a lot about it?
Yeah, it depends on what you're talking about. The comics?
Yes. The comics and cartoons.
I don't remember anything because I never really paid much attention to it.
Okay, I would say interpersonal conflict. They refuse to listen to each other. They refuse to talk. Kind of like the Avengers, but way more, way bigger problems. They're like, okay, they go in to fight somebody, like, all right, we need to do this. Fuck you, and goes and does it himself. And then they'd fail.
Okay, yeah.
And they would try to fight each other physically because they're always pissed. This one, they all kind of went, yay, we're a team now, guys. It felt weird. It felt like they were trying to rush it to the we're all friends, kumbaya bullshit.
I'll be okay. The reason for that is Warner Brothers put out a decree, a mandate about this movie. It said it must be less than 2 hours long.
And that was, again, executive meddling because Hollywood learning the wrong lessons. The only thing that they took away from what was wrong with the other movies was they took away that people didn't like the dark tone. So they started, quote, lightening the tone, making more jokes. They took away from people saying that Batman v Superman was too long. And they said, okay, 2 hours. Bam.
And Justice League needed to be longer.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
way fucking longer.
As I was watching it, I was like, man, this is moving really fast-paced. I wonder what they're... And it's over, and the bad guy's dead. What just happened?
Right, dude? Like, and let's get to the bad guy fight. All right, so spoilers, everybody, if you haven't figured that out already.
They fight Steppenwolf.
Yeah. It's the Steppenwolf fight pissed me off, and this is why. Justice League, in the comics and the cartoons, even when the Boy Scout wasn't there, was able to kick some serious ass. But they were losing. They were losing. They were getting whomped on until the Boy Scouts showed up, and all of a sudden, and he put him out like within minutes. It seemed like, and it was like Superman was just like, "Oh, by the way, bitch smack, Steppenwolf's down." No, I hated the fact that it felt like we're lost without the big blue Boy Scout. No, you're fucking Batman. You're Wonder Woman. You're you're Cyborg. You're Flash. This is a Wonder Team.
I have to say there was one line, and they gave it away in the trailers, but it was still just as funny in the movie as it was in the trailers. It was when the Flash asks Bruce Wayne what his superpower is.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "I'm rich."
Yeah.
When I heard that in the trailer, I was like, haha, that's funny. But then in the movie, I started to think about it, and I thought, that is his superpower. Well, he's rich.
Rich and determination. Pure willpower. That's his superpower.
And yet he sucks as a Green Lantern. Go figure.
Green Lantern? Was there a point when they turned him into a Green Lantern?
In the comics, yes. He was offered the ring, and I think he turned it down, or the Guardians turned it down.
Really? I don't remember this.
Speaking of, massive missed opportunity in this movie. Okay, so we're kind of sidestepping a thing that I think we all forgot about. There was when they were discussing Steppenwolf and the mother boxes, there was a big, Lord of the Rings style fight between all the old heroes and blah blah blah. There were a few things I want to say, but I may be mistaken that there was a Hawkman somewhere in there.
I don't remember that.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of Green Lanterns that were all fighting Steppenwolf.
I don't remember the Green Lanterns. Weird.
At one point, like I said, it was a very quick montage. Again, could have used a bit more time, runtime.
A bit more? Oh, that could have used so much more. That thing was sorry.
So, in the Green Lanterns, fighting him, he kills one of the Green Lanterns.
Yep.
And the ring floats up off the dead person's body and goes zooming off into space. Now, what if, and I'm writing a better movie here right now, what if, instead of Superman saving the day, what if they can't defeat Steppenwolf and they use that Green Lantern ring to bring the Green Lantern in as the brand new Green Lantern who just comes in out of nowhere and then introduce the Green Lantern to the universe.
And it has to be Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds,
it doesn't have to be Ryan.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious, but
Ryan Reynolds, if they hadn't wrote him a shitty script and gave him a shitty suit, he would have been awesome.
He would have been. I still say that was not his fault. That was the fault of the terrible movie.
Oh, by far.
But the good part about Green Lantern failing is you get Deadpool out of it.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
That is also true.
And all the jokes in it, too, like no animated
There's actually one of the biggest fan desires out of a future Green Lantern movie is that they don't do... they do a different Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan, but they have Hal Jordan, played by Ryan Reynolds, dying at the start of the new movie, and his ring passes on to a new Green Lantern. That would be
cool.
Glorious.
That actually would have been really cool. I would like that. Shit.
I would like Jon Stewart or Kyle Rayner, please.
Yeah, most people want Jon Stewart, and a lot of people are saying they want
Jon Stewart, the old Daily Show guy?
No.
Yes, they have to do that. Have like a throwaway. It's like, oh yeah, here's an alien over here. His name is Jon Stewart, and it's actually Jon Stewart.
Oh, that's a character.
Yeah, so one of the Green Lantern's character names is Jon Stewart.
Oh, I thought about the fucking guy from the Daily Show. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Jon Stewart is he's more than just the black one, but he's the black one.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I believe so.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. But it felt very, very rushed. It felt like they were going, oh, we're so lost without the Boy Scout. We need our big brother back to help protect us. It was, you have fucking Wonder Woman. All right,
help us, Superman. We're worthless.
That's exactly it. And it just felt so shitty and stupid. And much as I'm slamming it, it was a great movie, but it was just, they had such potential, and they just went, all right, looks like we can't do anything else Superman. And it was just...
long story short about Justice League, if you want superhero punchy, that's the movie for you.
Oh, yeah, by far. It was great. It was fucking great for that aspect. I like and you guys hating the Flash is beyond me. I thought his portrayal of the Flash was perfect. He sold it.
None of us hated the
Flash. Oh, my God. Do we have to rewind it?
I did.
We just said okay, Robbie didn't. No. Robbie hated the Flash. I just said that he was...
I said I hated it when?
You said you thought the guy who played it sold and it ruined it.
No, that was casual.
No,
I didn't get the right actor.
I said that he didn't really sell me on the role as much as I wish he would have. That's all I said. I didn't say I hated him.
You said without saying it.
I have no basis for hating him yet because he's only done the one movie. Now, maybe he'll do better in the next one. Who knows?
Anyway, I've never liked the Flash. He made me love the Flash. I thought he was amazing. I thought he sold the character. He actually made the character fun.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite of that. I fucking love the Flash. He made me dislike the Flash.
There's nothing about the Flash I liked before. Perfect.
He also has the most overpowered moveset of any hero ever.
Oh, yeah. He's even more powerful than Batman, or not Batman. Of course he's more powerful than Batman. He's more powerful than Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman put together.
Yeah.
Well, but unless you watch Justice League and, he's faster than me.
Yeah. Now, again, I think they did it right with him because... they made him the new guy. He wasn't just new to the team, he was new to being a superhero. And by doing that, it kind of lessens the impact that he should be the most powerful member of the team this side of Superman, so that he's literally stumbling over his own feet. He doesn't have he doesn't believe in himself. All of that makes it work that he's underpowered. Yeah. Now, the problem is they can't keep that up. And once they if they get into more movies with him, he can literally reset time at will. He's super overpowered.
Yeah, I want to say, I don't know if you've seen the cartoon of it, but I want to say that he based his personality on the Justice League cartoon version of the Flash. Very kind of happy-go-lucky. But I don't think that translated very well to a live-action screen. Also, I was going to say something. Christ.
Welcome to the dead air while we figure out what to say.
What the? I had this in my head a minute ago. I can't remember what the fuck I was going to say now.
Please hold. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Anyway, while you're thinking that, Robbie. But all in all, it was a great movie. I will go to see Justice League again in theaters shortly here with Clorox. I'm not going to go see Thor again, even if it comes out. I'm afraid I'll buy it to watch it again with the kids, but I'm never going to go see it in the theaters again. Where Justice League, I would actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the panic attack and the anxiety and the day of exhaustion where I can't breathe for the next day because I'm so worn out from the anxiety. I'm looking forward to it because Justice League was that good. But I will say it was too bright, too chipper.
Sorry.
It looked meh. Go ahead, Robbie. Sorry.
I remember what I wanted to say. I don't think they utilized them as well as they should have. Maybe it's because I really, really, really liked the Quicksilver scenes from X-Men, but I don't know, I was expecting something similar to that.
Yeah, they the problem with that is that Quicksilver scenes have set such an amazing standard that if they were to do the exact same thing, that people would just immediately say, "Oh, you're just copying X-Men."
But remember, the Flash scenes in Justice League, we got 3 of them. In every movie with Quicksilver, you get 1 of those.
Yeah,
That's
the moment
also
where
true.
the moment where he's like running around and he pushes Wonder Woman's sword into her hand, I was expecting a lot more of those kind of scenes where he's like, people are like almost on a precipice of screwing up, but then he kind of saves them in his own little way.
I still think the best Flash, super fast was when he's fighting Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. That was hilarious when
Yeah.
he looks at him and it's like,
It's like,
oh
shit,
you can
as
see
fast
me.
as I am.
Yep.
I really did like that scene, the whole Pet Cemetery bit.
Yeah, that I thought was fucking awesome. 'cause
Oh
once
yeah, I
again,
forgot about that line.
it really sold the Flash with the whole, this guy is not used to it. He's the odd man out. He's like, are you sure we should be doing this? Is it Pet Cemetery or is it a good, I was like, that's great. I love that whole thing. It was fucking fantastic. It was so goddamn good.
I like that they made the almost immediate callback when Superman started fighting them of Flash saying, "Yep, Pet Cemetery."
Yep. Yeah, I saw it. I was started smiling instantly. I'm like, that's it right there. That's it.
I like one of the lines I liked from that scene was after Superman is like shouting at Batman saying, "Do you bleed?" And then he drops him, and Batman's like, "Yep, something's bleeding."
AKA get wrecked.
That one, the Superman versus Batman fight in Justice League was kind of shit in my opinion because he threw him against a fucking cop car. The cop car buckled. Bat stands up. Listen, I get it. He's the goddamn Batman, but for fuck's sake,
No, that's it. That's all you say.
Well, you forget this is old Batman, so he's already had his back broken, so now he has a super back.
Yeah, so it's reinforced. I couldn't say enough about how disappointed with that fight I was. But it was great. Still, it was a great flick no matter what. I can't wait to see it again.
Because that fight, that's how a Superman versus Batman fight would actually go.
That's actually true. So, I was thinking about movies that are shit and movies that are good, and to get us off the topic of the Justice League and the whole DC thing, because we've been talking about it for a while. The new trailer for Jurassic World 2, I can't remember, Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, Fallen Kingdom.
To which my response is, oh dear Lord.
Okay, so I know not everybody has seen Jurassic World.
I have so little interest in Jurassic World because of Jurassic Park 3 burned me so hard. I was
Okay,
like, fuck
now,
this.
I actually think Jurassic Park 3 was better than Jurassic Park 2 for certain reasons, but,
Yes,
we all have opinions.
I will agree with you.
Same.
What we can agree, though, is that Jurassic World was terrible for many more reasons. You don't have to see it, Stacy. Okay, Jurassic Park, if you were to watch that today, you would look at the CGI in that and go, wow, that was really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Jurassic
yeah, still
World, Jurassic World, some 20 years after the fact, where CGI has improved vastly in movies, looked worse. The plot was stupid, the characters sucked, the acting was awful, etc., etc., etc. So I watched the trailer for Jurassic World, who cares what it's called, 2. It looks identical!
It looks identical to the trailer that I've seen for the first one, and it also looks boring once again.
And they give away a major fuck yeah moment in the first trailer.
Yes.
Really?
And it's
Which
like...
one?
They get saved by the T-Rex. That's not a spoiler. It's in the actual trailer.
Right.
And what do you expect? Of course it's going to be there, because it's always, they got saved by the T-Rex.
But it ruins like a major, stand up and cheer moment in the theater.
Because the one quote, saving grace, I will say, for Jurassic World 1 was when the T-Rex finally appears, and he does save the day. He doesn't, the T-Rex doesn't save the day and then look at the hero and go, wink! He just comes in and kills the other, starts tearing apart the other dinosaur. And then the heroes look at the giant, terrifying monsters that are killing each other, and they run away.
Yeah.
It's not like he's actually there to help. In this trailer for Jurassic World 2, it looks like he's actually there to help.
Yep.
Like, what? But all of that aside, what I gathered from this trailer was it's like they took the script from the first movie, put it on the copy machine, made a copy, and said, well, we've got our script for 2.
I'm not going to disagree. It looks really boring because, like I said, I've only seen the trailer of the first one. It just looks fucking boring over and over again. That's all I could say about it. It looks fucking boring. And as far as it goes for the T-Rex save, it's always the fucking T-Rex save. That's what it always is, no matter what. It's always a T-Rex save.
That is actually true, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
4 fucking Jurassic Park movies. All 4 of them have a T-Rex save. Now, me being the dinosaur freak I am, I disagree with the portrayal of the T-Rex. The T-Rex was a scavenger. He was not a hunter. But that's still a hotly debated issue within the within the dinosaur community.
Well, I mean, the whole dinosaurs are misrepresented, aren't they? Because didn't they, after the fact of Jurassic Park, find out that a lot of dinosaurs actually have feathers?
Well, that the velociraptors are like turkey sized.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
which I think is a load of garbage. A velociraptor is how they appear in Jurassic Park 1, and that's the end of story.
They all had feathers.
Well, the feathers thing notwithstanding, the velociraptors are the velociraptors from the first movie. The problem is that they weren't called velociraptors until Steven Spielberg got involved and said, Deinonychus is a terrible name. Let's call them velociraptors. And the scientific community, because of sometimes you have to do some things for popular effect, they changed the name of Deinonychus to Velociraptor.
Yep. You're not wrong. That's what sucks.
And no, they weren't the size of a turkey. They were the Deinonychus was about 7 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah. One thing I didn't expect from the trailer was when I heard it was it was a rescue mission, I assumed it was just going to be, some people got onto the island, now you have to rescue them. But no, they're rescuing the dinosaurs from the island.
Yeah, that'd be the story of Jurassic Park 3 then.
Which is ridiculous on so many levels.
I don't know. The whole, do they deserve to be saved from the trailer? I'm like, they're fucking dinosaurs. They were extinct before you crazy sons of bitches decided to bring them back. Let them fucking die.
Just put their DNA in a can of shaving cream and smoke. Oh, wait, they tried that. The guy died.
Which, by the way, that can of shaving cream is still somewhere on that island, buried under mud and whatever.
Yep. So I bet it'll become a fossil, and somebody will dig it up like, this must have been how they transported things.
And speaking of other trailers, the Infinity War trailer dropped.
Looks so fucking good.
It raises all kinds of questions, which is a good thing. One is, why are the California raisins in the movie?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Thanos looks like a California raisin.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about.
I saw someone edited Thanos to look like Homer holding a donut.
There was a Photoshop thing I was looking at, like a blog or something. They had him as Hellboy. They had Thanos as he was on a Hawaiian vacation, so he had the sunglasses and straw hat in the way. And they had all sorts of different versions of Thanos as to why he would be walking through a portal.
Yeah, okay. I will say that it's probably early previs graphics, and they're but. He doesn't look good bald. He needs a helmet.
Yeah.
However, what I would say When I first saw Thanos in like the promotional posters and stuff, like, oh, he looks bad, like terrible. But then I saw him in the trailer. It's like, okay, he actually looks better in motion.
He's changed
Yeah,
quite a bit since his
I would
first
agree.
appearance.
Well, one of the major changes is that he's lighter. Like, his first appearance, people forget, was at the end of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
He was like a profile head, and most people didn't even know who he was. They were like, who's the purple guy? He's gotten less purple with each iteration. He's like kind of like dyeing his face with a little bleach. And the weird chin ripples, I don't even know what those are. They've also kind of lessened. And I think they're doing it to make him look less weird, but I think they should have gone the other direction. Like, they should have made him look more alien. I don't know how, other than making more chin ripples.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his conquering casual wear.
So can we confirm that if I decide to get fat and I get a shit ton of chin ripples, I'll be alien? Can we confirm this?
You'd have to get rid of your beard, though.
That's not chin ripples. That's chin folds. There's a difference.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Like, it looks good. It looks like it's gonna be great. I can't wait to see it. Frankly, fucking excited.
I would say that whatever your opinions on Marvel versus DC are, you have to agree on the one point I think we all agree, and that's Marvel has earned this.
Oh yeah, they've kicked some serious ass. I think it's gonna be great.
They put in the work to make Thanos what he is. We'll see what happens when it comes out, but I have faith that this movie is going to be everything they expect it to be.
I am most looking forward to Nomad, a.k.a. Captain America with a beard.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like a boss.
I like that they got rid of Thor's beard and hair, and then Captain America's kind of going the alternate route.
I'm still pissed about his fucking hair and beard being gone. Still pissed. I love
Captain America's stealing his beard.
I have to say, though, that was a hilarious scene with the cameo from Stan Lee as the crazy barber with the crazy, whatever that was.
See, honestly, I loved it. I love that, but I still was pissed. I was like, God, he looks so goddamn sexy with that hair. Put it back, you fuckers. Robbie, can I get an amen on that one?
I don't know. I kind of like him with short hair.
Oh, you are fucking sacrilegious piece of shit.
Well, Stacey needs something to hold on to.
God damn it.
And Stacey knows I'm right.
I'm fucking done.
And we lost Stacy. This has been the Odd Pod Podcast.
Oh, no.
You're welcome.
Oh, God damn it. All right, boys. I want you to rant. I want you to educate me. I want you to talk about Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's season 5. It was, I think the first episode came out 9 days ago. What's so good about it?
Well, I'm probably the only one that's actually watching it at this point, unfortunately.
Never mind.
I'm watching it. I don't know if I've watched the latest episode yet.
Casual versus Robbie, go.
But so here's the thing. Lots of TV shows, they get a start. Sometimes it's not the best start, but then they start to get good, and you watch it and you're like, man, I'm so glad that I stuck with this. That's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is overall. It's not like it was a bad show, but it was kind of just mediocre. They didn't know what they were doing with it. It was a show that it was fine. Then along the way, first season, mind you, it got better and better. it continues the track record of Marvel getting better and better, not counting Iron Fist. They have just recently gone, quote, cosmic. That's the theme of this season. Now, you might think, oh, TV budget cosmic. But think about shows that have gone cosmic before, aka Star Trek. Do you think those had low budgets? No. They looked good.
I like how they mention it in like the line saying, we're in space. That's the one thing we haven't done yet.
Yes! That was hilarious. So they lampshade the idea that they've gone to space. Now, it's not what I thought it would be. I'm not going to spoil it because it's actually an interesting take on the whole going cosmic thing. But what I will say is you can tell where they're saving the money on the budget this season. And what I mean by that is that in Star Trek, they always had in the background, you could see windows and there were stars in the background. And yes, those stars were just pinholes with a light behind a black screen, but it still looked like stars. This season, they have actually gone out into space. They've flown a spaceship in the first episode. They've shown really cool stuff. It does not look cheap, but they only did it for about 15 minutes overall, and the rest of the season, the first 2 episodes at least, has been inside a space station with no windows.
And there's actually precedent for that. If you remember, The Empire Strikes Back, when they're at Cloud City, the original cut is they fly into Cloud City, and that's all you see of the outside.
Yes.
And all the ones you see on TV is a special edition where they digitally went back and added windows and back, like outside background, make it seem more airy, not as claustrophobic.
And again, I'm not saying this is a bad decision overall, but what I am saying is you can tell that while they have a budget, they are clearly cost-saving in places where they need to. And it I don't know. We'll see where it goes because this is only the first, episode of the season, but I'm liking it. Like, I like where they're going with the series.
Okay, I mean, like I said, I have zero to no interest in TV shows in general, so that's why I kind of was like, all right, boys, have fun, talk about this. But, like I've heard from some people that they, just like you pointed out, Casual, they disliked it at first, but they've grown to love it.
I will say what they're doing in this series is a good way to get them out of having to be in Infinity War.
Oh yeah, for sure. Without spoilering, yeah, they're definitely not going to be linked at all to the current MCU movies. Like they have stepped aside in every way they can possibly step aside this season.
Okay, sounds good. I'm looking down the list here. I know there's some shit you guys really wanted to get into, and there's one that, Casual, I asked you about it. I was getting ready to delete this comment. I'd get ready to delete this topic because I figured it was too old, but you think it's still relevant. I didn't think so. Fucking Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Why is Star Wars still relevant? I mean, I remember I've talked to so many people who are like, I remember I was actually at the theater and the trailers were going and Star Wars was on and I could hear at least 3 other people besides myself going, oh, for Christ's sake, more of this shit?
No. I think you misconstrued why they're saying more of this shit. Well, you live in a weird fantasy world where people have different opinions than the majority, but that's beside the point. Not really.
I think the same. I would say the same exact for you, but okay.
What I will say is, I actually have the same opinion of seeing a trailer for Star Wars because Star Wars, the latest one, is coming out this coming week. Like it's Thursday night or whatever is the first showing. Blah blah blah. The problem with the trailers for Star Wars is that they keep showing new trailers with new scenes like a week before the movie comes out. And that's a problem with trailers in general. I've been avoiding the hell out of them because I want to go in, fresh. But one of the complaints of Star Wars is that it's always about the Skywalkers. Like, oh, good Lord, another Skywalker movie. There is the guy who's involved in Episode 9 has already been given the reins, so to speak, for the next big saga, and it's not going to involve the Skywalkers. So, for those that like Star Wars, which is a very large amount of people, they're finally getting what they've been wanting out of Star Wars for years, and that is stop being about the Skywalkers. We're going to get potentially an original story, which is a good thing.
It's going to be about the land swimmers.
Jesus Christ.
Dad jokes brought to you by Robbie.
What I will say is most of the talk amongst the nerds that love Star Wars, myself included to a certain degree, I'm kind of more of a Star Trek fan, but I like both, is that what they would love to see and what they're hoping to see is, I can't remember the name of it, Old Republic. They would like to see the Star Wars universe do Old Republic stories, which if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're like, okay, whatever. If you are a Star Wars fan, then you'll know that was one of the most popular video games that they made. It was an MMO. It's some of the more popular books that they wrote. And it's basically, if Star Wars is set in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the Old Republic is a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's like 1,000 years before all of the current things that they've told stories about in the movies.
So, don't get me wrong. I did used to enjoy Star Wars back in the day. It's just, I guess, after seeing so many shitty Star Wars flicks and just seeing so much crap over and over and over again from it, I just kind of got bored with it. And I'm just like, okay, I've seen the same shit over and over again. Why am I interested in this now? What's gonna be interesting enough to bring me back to Star Wars? You know what I mean? And I haven't seen a damn thing yet. And me being the fan of Mark Hamill, you'd think it'd be like, well, it's got Mark Hamill, I should love it. Well, not really. It's just, I've gotten so bored. It's just become so mundane. It's the same shit over and over and over again.
I couldn't answer that question because for me, as much as the prequel trilogy was not the best, I still enjoyed it for what it was. There are scenes that they did that are really great, but I can't in good conscience say it was a good movie because it wasn't. I don't know. It's one of those things that you either like it or don't, I guess.
I get you there. I do. I completely understand. It's just meh. Like I said, I enjoyed Star Wars back when I was a kid. I loved it. Got really bored with it by episode 6. You know, I was like, okay, this is starting to get a bit boring, but okay, whatever. It's how it works. You know, this how it's a good movie for what it was. Episode 1 came out, and I was like, I kind of enjoy this. This is cool. Episode 2, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Episode 3, won't even watch it. I watch clips. And the 7 and 8, I haven't touched, and I won't touch. You know, it's just, there's nothing there to bring me back.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Some people are bored of it. I still enjoy it. But,
I understand.
You know.
I honestly think maybe it's just, maybe this new one without the Skywalkers might be worthwhile to watch because maybe it'll be written for a new generation instead of just being written for the people who enjoyed the originals. and that might be all it is for me. It's that it was written for the people who enjoyed the first ones, and that's it. That's what I always felt about it. Where this new ones, maybe it'll be different. Hopefully, it will be different.
Well, and that's kind of why they gave the reins to somebody else to do exactly that, to set a new, set up a new thing and see where it goes.
I guess in a way it'd be kind of a story of redemption for the franchise. One that a lot of people have been making jokes about for a while for redemption, and I don't know if it's possible or not. Super Mario. Do you think it's possible to redeem this one? Because I just found out today, I've never known that this was going to happen until a few minutes ago, that apparently they're going to be making a new movie. Can they redeem themselves?
Maybe as an animated movie?
Okay, so for those that don't remember, there was a Super Mario Brothers movie. It came out in 1993, and it was awful. It was live action. It was an awful piece of crap. Partly because the actual history of that movie is that it was originally a different movie. Like, it was some other movie, and when the people that got the rights to do the Super Mario Brothers movie got the rights, they just took that movie that they were already making and they slapped, they did a copy replace on everything for characters. They replaced this character with Mario, replaced this character with Luigi, and it was worse than a trash fire. It's hard to watch. It is strange on levels that you have to be on acid to even begin to comprehend. It's just a bad, bad movie. It was so bad that Nintendo, outside of the Pokemon movies, which were a completely different thing, Nintendo has not made another deal with any movie people since. And that's going on 25 years now.
That's how you know you fucked up something really bad, man.
They are now in talks, and again, I stress in talks because there's no confirmation that this is actually happening yet, but they are in talks with Illumination, which is the studio that did the Despicable Me movies and the Minions movies, to do a CGI Super Mario movie. Now, I personally find this remarkable on a couple of different levels. One, Nintendo is talking about doing a movie again. Two, they're talking about doing a Mario movie again. Like, the thing that stopped them from doing movies for 25 years, and they're in talks to do that movie. Like, it boggles my mind as a person. Like, why aren't they talking about a Zelda movie or a Metroid movie? Stories that actually have a story versus Save the Princess. And somehow, for some reason, go through pipes and, by the way, you're a plumber. You can kind of see my point. Like, what?
Why would they even bother? It's so dumb. It's gonna tank like it always tanks. Just like the fucking Mario 3 Super Show, or what the fuck it was called. It's gonna tank like it always tanked. There's nothing good about it.
Well, there's plenty good about the games. Those are fun.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about the games. I'm talking about the show, man.
But as a movie, and yes, I remember the Super Mario Super Show. That was a very strange time in the 90s.
Drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Drugs.
How can you possibly go wrong with Mario on the silver screen? It's got drugs, dinosaurs, and magic.
So,
if they need to, if they're going to make
Rampage?
If they're going to make the Mario movie as good as this Mario Super Show, he needs to have Mario telling Luigi to fuck himself.
I almost spit coffee in my computer, you son of a bitch. Gonna fuck yourself, Luigi. That was the worst Italian accent ever in my entire life. All right, good job, Stacy.
Oh, that's what that was.
Fuck you. God damn it. Guys, I want to talk about games real quick here because I know we're getting pretty goddamn close to the end of it here. I want to talk about games. First off, microtransactions. They're huge. Everybody's been talking about them for fucking ever and a day. Everybody's been bitching about it, but yet people are still like, it's okay, EA. Take our money anyway. Even though we hate what you do, we refuse to stand up because we have to have Star Wars. Now, GTA. Are they the future of microtransactions?
Okay, so...
Or is it going to be just a microtransaction game and that's all they're ever going to be, just like Dead Space 3 or what?
I'll be honest, I didn't know that. I thought they already had microtransactions. I don't follow GTA that much.
They don't, not really. Okay, so microtransactions, we as gamers all hate them, but we all use them, and that's the problem. That's why microtransactions aren't going away anytime soon.
I wouldn't say all of us.
No, but enough people do that, the problem is that enough people do that they're becoming the future. Now, EA's whole loot box thing with Star Wars, that's a whole bag of worms. I don't know what I don't know why this set of loot boxes has caused such a huge thing, because there's other games with loot boxes and have been for years, but apparently, how dare you, EA? And now, I would agree, how dare you, EA in general, but that's just me being a jerk. Microtransactions have always been... How to say that? They've always been something that developers use, but they don't go out of their way to say, yeah, we're going to try and fully attempt to screw you over with microtransactions. The lead CEO or whatever it is of Rockstar has come out in a statement and said the future of GTA is microtransactions. I find it weird that he would say that, if only because he's basically coming out to publicly say, so, by the way, in the future, we are actively going to screw you out of your money.
I can't say I'm very surprised, because that's what video game companies been doing for God knows how long now.
Right, but they don't come out and say it. That's my point. They don't actually say, so, yeah, hey, you know those microtransactions you mostly hate but you keep paying us for? We're gonna, not mention those. But now it's like them coming out and just fully admitting that we've been screwing you for years. Guess what? We're gonna continue to screw you, and now we're gonna tell you we're screwing you, and we're gonna show you the dildo, and it's really big.
I better hope so.
God damn it. Yeah, I mean, it's...
And for the record, what Robbie was saying, they don't really have microtransactions in GTA. What they do have is you can buy fake money for real money.
Okay, that's what it was.
And then you can buy fake virtual stuff in GTA Online with that fake money that you paid real money for. It's a whole thing, but now they're...
I don't like that. I don't mind trading real money for virtual items, but I don't like trading real money for fake money. That just seems stupid, like a stupid middleman to me.
Yeah, but it's basically the way of the future. Unfortunately, there's no way to get around it.
I think this is
at this point
such bullshit, because the fact that you'll hear people bitch about the microtransactions and how dare they. But they go and buy this shit. I think we touched on this last podcast. I could have swore. But, a perfect example, I was talking to Clorox's brother. I was also talking to buddy of mine, Drav. Both of them are going, well, I got the game. Why? Well, I had to buy it. Star Wars. Well, didn't you just bitch about the microtransactions? Well, yeah, but what am I going to do about it? I'm not going to buy the microtransactions, but you still bought the fucking game. Therefore, you endorse the microtransactions.
Yep. And that's, that's why I feel like this is the sign of our times, that basically Rockstar is coming out and saying, you people keep bitching about microtransactions, but I bet if we just come out and say, we're going to microtransaction you, you're still going to buy our game. And I would say the proof is that this story is not gaining any traction anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only one that seems to be like, is anybody going to mention this? No, Star Wars. It's like, okay. I guess this is just the new thing. This is the future now.
That's exactly what I was pointing out. Is people are like, well, I have to play it. It's got Star Wars. Well, no, you don't. Stand up for 30 fucking seconds. Stand up for something you believe in instead of just being a fucking little bitch going, well, I have to have this. I need it. It's Star Wars. Shut the fuck up.
Jeez.
If you don't want loot crates in Battlefront, play Star Wars Battlefront, the original.
Or, me, just don't play anything from EA to stand up for your fucking selves. But, they never will. People always
fat people jokes.
I'm sorry?
No one likes my fat people jokes.
That was a fat people joke?
Stacey kept saying stand up, and I was like, oh, exercise.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't want to stand up. That's where you need to get Homer.
Well, I think that's a decent ending point when our jokes are starting to kind of tail off.
Even to ourselves.
They have gone from bad dad jokes to just kind of bad jokes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Guys, I love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in. I have been Stacey Kruger. Who have you boys been? Who have you boys? Who have you boys? Who have you boys been?
Definitely time to end.
I'm Robbie, and I assume I've been Robbie. I'm not sure.
One man can save us. Rat Hazard 1.
And one man can fuck up this podcast, Stacey Kruger.
And one man can not have something to say about anything for the last part, so I've been casually challenged.
And also, don't forget to subscribe. Twitch.tv/Stacey Kruger.
God damn it. Or check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Odd Pod Podcast. The first pod has 2 Ds because fuck you. That's why. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Y'all have been amazing. We'll catch you next time.